Well, let's bring in our political panel for the day. Former Liberal MP Fiona Scott and former Labor advisor Darren Barnett. Welcome to you both. A sad day. Jim Molan has passed away. I'll give each of you an opportunity to pay tribute. Fiona.
Yeah, thanks, thanks, Andrew. Look, it is a very sad day for Australia, not the Liberal Party, but Australia. I mean, Jim Molan was a remarkable Australian who dedicated most of his life to Australia and to our safety and our protection. And when it was no longer in the Defence Force, an amazing 40-year career in the Defence Force, it was then on the floor of the Australian Parliament. And, you know, to provide that advice, I mean, to be one of the most senior ranked army officers to have walked into Parliament, and you know, at a time where we've seen, you know, the Chinese step into the South China Sea and some of the national security challenges there, right through COVID and the pandemic, to have a military mind and a strategic man like Jim Molan in Parliament for a resource that the government of the day could draw on was just an amazing gift that he provided the Australian people. And, you know, today is a profound loss for Australia, but probably even, and more than anything, it's a profound loss for his family who loved him so much and were generous enough to share him with all of us.
Darren Barnett.
Look, firstly, condolences to Senator Molan, Jim Molan's family. Obviously, it's a sad day. He'd been unwell, but these things are always a shock. Look, I had a little bit to do with Senator Molan during his time on the issue of fuel security. I was coming at it from a union perspective. He obviously had a military background, but I found him to be a very calm, strategic and wise problem solver. And those types of people in our parliament are an absolute asset. So, look, condolences, and he had a wonderful career, a decorated career in the military, and made his mark in the Senate. And it's a sad day for everybody in the parliament.
And Fiona, you saw his hopes and dreams for the Liberal Party in terms of democratisation or plebiscites and the like. He was a passionate advocate for that. What do you think drove that?
Look, I think what drove that for Jim was probably a feeling of injustice. I saw your interview earlier, Andrew, with Holly Hughes about the pre-selections that Jim and Holly contested against. And, you know, I guess Jim had a view when he joined the Liberal Party as he thought how the processes worked, and he didn't like the way it was. So in true Jim Molan style, he, you know, you carry on or you break through, and he broke through, and that was his way, and that's what he did. And, you know, we now have a plebiscite model that came out of the convention that was held at Rose Hill that did democratise the party. And, you know, nowadays the Senate is no one's gift. You know, no faction leader in New South Wales can gift the Senate. I mean, even if you look at the last pre-selection that Holly Hughes won, I mean, she was not the favourite to win that pre-selection, but she knocked on every door, she called every phone, and she won that pre-selection because the party voted for Holly. And, you know, that is what I think the changes of that democratisation did to the Liberal Party in many ways. The vote for the upper houses, both in the New South Wales Parliament and the Australian Senate, is now at the hands of the rank and file members rather than just the factional leaders.